Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so first of all, I would like to welcome Dr. Mazen. And on behalf of my colleagues from the United Arab Emirates University, we would like to thank you, Dr. Mazen, for agreeing to deliver an online workshop today. So this is Dr. Said, the Director for the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning at the United Arab Emirates University. So I would like first to introduce Dr. Mazen to everyone, and then I will be giving the floor to Dr. Mazen. So Dr. Mazen, he's currently the lead software engineer at Meta, Facebook. So Dr. Mazen has 12 years experience in industry, ranging from Google, Apple, Amazon, and now he's at Meta, Facebook. He has also academic experience, 8 years. He was at the Jordan University of Science and Technology. So he's a computer engineer, and he graduated from North Carolina State University. So Dr. Mazen, before I give you the floor, I just need to let my colleagues to know, if you have any question, you can just write the question in the chat, or you can wait to the Q&A session, which will be at the end. Like we're gonna give 15 minutes for question and answers. So Dr. Mazen, the floor is yours. So go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and Ramadan Kareem. It gives me great honor to deliver this presentation to you this evening. Before we start, I would like to thank Dr. Said, the Director of the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning at the United Arab Emirates University, for extending this invitation to me. Before we start, a couple of quick disclaimers. My company requires that I state that this presentation is not affiliated with or authorized by, endorsed by, or connected to them in any way. In addition, throughout this presentation, examples of AI tools are demonstrated. This is in no way an endorsement of these specific tools. There are numerous AI tools out there, and I encourage you to test and try them before you decide on using one or the other. So let's start by defining the scope of this presentation. With AI's rapid advancements in the last few years and its wide integration in many aspects of our lives, educators, administrators, and students have been posing many questions about AI, such as, is AI going to replace me as an educator? How can educators make the best use of AI? Similarly, how can students make the best use of AI? And how do I prepare my students for a future where AI is an integral part of many of its aspects? These questions and many similar ones are on the minds of many of us, and hopefully I can answer some or all of them today. So let's start with the first question. Is AI going to replace me as an educator? This is a question that we all hear frequently from not only educators, but from people within a wide spectrum of professions, such as engineers, doctors, accountants, salespeople, etc. The short answer is absolutely not. However, education is evolving with AI, given the sheer amount of tools and functionalities that AI provides. Consequently, educators need to adapt accordingly through learning and training. Not only that, but educators need to prepare their students for a job market that demands skills in using and/or building AI tools. Our students need to be well prepared and trained on using AI tools in the workplace. So how can AI support educators? First, fortunately, AI provides a wide spectrum of features and tools that can help educators automate and streamline administrative tasks. Think of tasks such as scheduling classes and meetings, filling forms, tracking student submissions, or tracking students' attendance, submitting grades, replying to emails, organizing documents, etc. All the boring stuff educators do and do not like. By automating these tasks, educators' times can be freed to allow them to focus on more challenging and interesting work related to their job. Second, AI provides tools and features that can help educators create richer and more immersive content for teaching and training. For example, AI can help educators by generating images, animations, and simulations. It is said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. If that is the case, how many words is an animation worth? Imagine a classroom where virtual reality is used to take students in a journey through the Milky Way in an astronomy class, or through a historical event in a history class, or into an operation room in a medicine class. Thinking of it, the possibilities are limitless. Third, AI can help refine testing and student assessment. Numerous studies have been published that highlight the effectiveness of computer-based adaptive testing. These tests provide finer and more accurate assessment of students with fewer questions. Moreover, AI can facilitate many aspects of the testing process, including preparing tests, grading them, analyzing the performance at both the individual student level and the whole class level. Fourth, AI can greatly personalize the learning experience, making it more engageable and interesting to students. AI can also significantly help in bridging the education gap for students with different disabilities. So, what administrative tasks can AI automate? First, AI can automate and streamline scheduling conflict-free meetings and classes, booking office hours, scheduling tests and exams, and managing calendars in general. This would optimize everyone's time and significantly reduce manual effort. For example, AI can check the calendars of all students in a class and propose the best conflict-free time to schedule a test or a makeup lecture. Second, AI can summarize, sort, and prioritize incoming email. It can also draft email responses. I'm sure all of you see that using Gmail or Outlook. All of this can improve communication efficiency. For example, every morning, I get a summary of all my emails and draft responses ready. This saves me at least 30 minutes of effort every day, allowing me to focus on more important work. Third, AI can automate data entry tasks, such as grades. It can also extract information from documents, such as reports, and verify data correctness. This can significantly save time and reduce errors. For example, just a few days back, I used AI to get a summary of all the papers in a conference I'm planning to attend. This allows me to identify the presentations that are most interesting to me. Fourth, AI can streamline document management, retrieval, and processing. Finally, AI can help with summarizing related research papers. It can also draft proposals and papers, check spelling and grammar, and create figures and graphs. This is an example of an AI-generated email summary using Google Gemini. In this example, Gemini summarizes 4 related emails from the same sender. In this case, it's the user's child's elementary school. This summary saves the user significant time going through their emails. It also reduces the chance of the user missing important emails or calendar invites. This is another example of another AI tool, in this case, Microsoft Bing, summarizing a PDF document. This functionality can be helpful to many of us. For example, it can help researchers who are investigating prior work related to their research project. This functionality can also be helpful to educators who are assessing students' reports. Again, as I said before, the possibilities are limitless. So how can AI help educators in providing a better teaching and learning experience to students? First, AI-powered tools can help educators easily and automatically generate rich, high-quality course content, such as images, animations, and simulations. For example, an educator could create highly engaging course content simply by providing a generative AI engine with some text prompts. Instead of using an image to explain a process, AI-powered tools can be used to generate an animation. Second, AI-powered tools can help educators create learning experiences that are customized to each student's individual needs, skills, interests, strengths, and weaknesses. This is very important. Some of these adaptive products have been widely available for years, but recent technological advances can now be leveraged to provide even more personalization. For example, through an early assessment, AI tools can identify each student's strengths and weaknesses. It can then create a tailored course program for them. Third, AI algorithms can analyze data from students' interactions with the course material and from tests and assessments to identify areas where the students are struggling. Educators can then provide targeted support accordingly for each student individually. Fourth, AI-powered tools can adapt the course material based on individual students' progress throughout the course. AI can analyze test results to identify focus areas, again, for each student individually. This is an example of a slide I created earlier today using Canva Dream Job. All I had to do is enter the phrase Newton's 3 laws of motion into a text box, and within seconds, this slide was generated by generative AI. The slide is editable, allowing me to modify the text and content. Given 2 options, option 1, writing the 3 laws on a whiteboard, or option 2, using such a slide. Which option do you think would be more interesting and engageable to your students? So what are the benefits of personalized and adaptive learning? There have been numerous studies in the last 2 decades discussing the many benefits of personalized and adaptive learning. For example, a recent study published in the Journal of Education Psychology stated that students participating in personalized learning programs scored on average 30% higher on standardized tests than their peers in traditional classrooms. Think of standardized tests such as GRE or MCAT or SATs. Another recent study published in the same journal stated that a compelling statistic from the US Department of Education highlights that only 30% of students in traditional classrooms feel motivated to learn, compared to a staggering 75% in personalized learning settings. These studies just highlight some of the numerous advantages of personalized and adaptive learning experience to students. Fortunately, AI tools can streamline and automate the generation of such personalized and adaptive learning experiences with very little effort from educators. In the context of testing and assessment, AI can have a significant positive impact in multiple dimensions. First, AI can provide adaptive assessments through tailored feedback and adaptive difficulty. AI can analyze each student's responses individually and identify the student's strengths and weaknesses. In addition, AI can adjust the difficulty level of the test components based on each student's performance, resulting in a more accurate student evaluation. As I mentioned earlier, numerous studies have highlighted the effectiveness of computer-based adaptive testing. These tests provide finer and more accurate assessment of students using fewer questions compared to traditional testing. Second, AI can assess each student's work in real time and can provide immediate feedback to both educators and students. AI can also provide students and their educators with detailed insights into students' performance, strengths, and weaknesses. Third, AI can automate the grading process, ensuring objectivity and reducing human bias. Imagine the amount of time saved every semester if AI-powered tools could grade students' tests and projects automatically. Fourth, AI can incorporate gaming elements into assessments, making assessments more interesting and engageable for students. AI can also create assessments that better reflect real-world applications and use cases. Finally, AI can be utilized to create accessible assessment tools for students with disabilities. For example, a blind student can use AI-powered tools to read questions to them and a similar speech-to-text tool to record their answers to the test questions. I want to highlight the importance of gamification. It's natural human tendencies to appreciate things like games and competitions. In testing and student assessment, gamification refers to the incorporation of game-like elements into the testing and assessment process. This has significant benefits such as increased student engagement and motivation, improved teamwork, and enhanced productivity. Examples of gamification in testing and assessments include awarding points and badges for completing assignments and project milestones, creating a leaderboard to showcase the top performers, and consequently creating a healthy competitive environment between students, designing challenges and quests, which help get students more engaged and more interested, incorporating a story element that makes the assessment more engaging and more memorable to those students. And finally, offering rewards and incentives to top performers. One key area where AI can be of great benefit to education is by powering tools that support both educators and students with disabilities. These tools can significantly improve equity, equality, and inclusiveness in education. Examples of such tools include text-to-speech and speech-to-text tools that can convert text to speech and vice versa, supporting students with visual and hearing impairments. Moreover, real-time captioning can generate real-time captions for lectures and videos, making content accessible to students with hearing impairments. In addition, image descriptions can provide audio descriptions of images, helping visually impaired students understand visual content. Finally, assistive apps can offer features like screen readers, text prediction, and spell checkers, enhancing accessibility for educators and students with various disabilities. Moving on from educators to students, how can our students make the best use of AI? Students should be trained to make the best use of the wide range of AI-powered tools available to them. These tools and functionalities can be categorized into 4 main categories. First, personalized learning. We already discussed how educators can use AI to create personalized and adaptive learning material for their students. We also discussed the numerous advantages of personalized and adaptive learning to students. Second, research and information gathering. AI-powered tools can help students explore new topics, summarize papers and articles available online, identify credible sources, and many other things. Third, writing and content creation. AI-powered tools can help students by checking their spelling and grammar. Other AI-powered tools can help students create images and other multimedia content. Fourth, and very importantly, critical thinking. By understanding the limitations of AI, students can learn critical thinking by questioning what AI provides. Let's dig deeper. Students can use AI to personalize their own learning experience in multiple ways. First, they can use adaptive learning tools and material to receive a personalized learning experience tailored to their individual progress, learning pace, strengths, and weaknesses. Second, students can use AI for test preparation. Given input materials such as notes and textbook data or textbook chapters, AI-powered tools can generate practice questions and check the students' answers immediately. Third, AI tools can provide immediate feedback to students, allowing them to learn in real time. Students also can use AI as a research assistant. AI can help students explore new topics by providing summaries of papers and articles. It can also help them organize and summarize a large amount of material automatically and efficiently, saving them hours of time, allowing them to focus on more interesting and important work. Students can, moreover, take advantage of the many AI-powered tools available to them to improve their writing and presentation. These include tools such as spelling and grammar checkers, style assistants, and content creation tools. AI can be thought of as a first editor for reviewing student-produced reports and presentations. Importantly, students need to be taught about the limitations of AI and should be made aware that AI is not perfect. AI-generated content may have errors, inaccuracies, and not surprisingly, biases. Students should be taught to question any material produced by AI and to ask follow-up questions. This can improve their critical thinking skills. While we should trust that the majority of our students are using AI ethically, there will always be some students who will not. A common question we hear from educators nowadays is, how can I detect if a student has used AI in an unauthorized way? First, there are several tools available to educators that can help in detecting AI-generated content. I've included 4 examples here, but there are other tools available online. Examples include Turnitin, GPT-0, CopyLeaks, and ContentDetector.ai. However, and I need to emphasize this point, one needs to be aware that these tools are not perfect and can produce both false positives and false negative errors. Second, educators can look for writing style abnormalities. For example, a sudden improvement in a student's writing level can be a red flag. Other abnormalities that can be red flags to educators include lack of errors, inconsistencies, and tautology. Tautology is a known problem in AI-generated text, and it refers to unnecessary wording, such as saying the same thing twice. Finally, cross-verification through in-class written and oral assessment can help educators easily identify AI-generated content. So, how do we prepare our students for the future? First, educators and students need to embrace AI, not fear it nor avoid it. AI is an integral part of the future, and its applications will only increase and evolve with time. We should teach our students to use AI, to embrace it, and in no way avoid it. Second, students must be taught and trained on how to use general AI-powered tools. These include tools that can be used by students of almost all majors and universities. Think of tools such as assistants, content creation tools, checkers, content summarizing tools, etc. Students need to be encouraged to use these in an authorized way. Third, and equally important, students should be taught and trained on how to use AI-powered tools specific to their field of study. For example, computer engineering and computer science students should learn how to train and test AI models. They should learn about the hardware that empowers AI, such as GPUs and TPUs. They should learn programming languages that support AI development, such as Python and CUDA. They should also learn how to gather training data that is comprehensive and consistent. I've included examples of useful AI tools for education. I encourage all of you to search them up, test them, and use whatever tool you find useful. Examples are audiopen.ai, Canva, which is very useful in creating content, Curipod, edu8.ai, OpenAI, including ChatGPT, Quizzes, and SlidesGo. These are only samples of available AI tools. And again, I encourage you to test as many as are available to you and choose whatever tools you find most useful to you and your specific education needs. I'd like to open the floor now for discussion and Q&A.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mazen, for the informative presentation. So now I need to give the floor to our colleagues. If you have any question.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
Yes.
assalam.
Okay, my name is Omar Al-Khatib from the College of Engineering, and I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, is there any tools just to enhance our communication with AI, basically image to text? For example, if we need to scan our assignment, graded assignment, then allow the student to talk to or chat with this document without having the opportunity to download it or keep a copy for it, such as knowing his or her errors or give a feedback on this assignment. Thank you.
Yeah, so I do not use any specific tools for such use cases. In general, tools that summarize documents can be very helpful here. I would recommend ChatGPT or Gemini or Microsoft Bing. They are capable of summarizing documents very well. As for understanding grades and feedback, several of the education tools I highlighted in the previous slide have some of that capability, I would encourage you to try them out and learn more about their features. Some of their content, basic content, is available for free, and other content is available through subscription.
Okay, any more questions?
May I ask from here?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, the organizers and also the presenter. An excellent work that gave a very good insight into it. And thank you very much. I have a question. Definitely everything has a drawback or a positive and a negative sides. I'm sure there are some unwanted impacts or drawbacks from the AI. What would be those things to be aware of? The negative sides of the AI in the future of higher education. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's a very good question. And several studies have highlighted one major drawback of AI, and that is reduced student soft skills. Because students rely on interaction with computers and AI through computers, their soft skills usually do not grow or improve as needed. Examples of soft skills include the ability to present, the ability to argue and discuss with colleagues, the ability to express their own thoughts. And that is why it is important for educators to be aware of this drawback of AI and computers in general, and integrate these soft skills into their curriculum. For example, one component of a student's assessment should be a presentation, where a student stands in front of their colleagues and presents their work. This is a very important soft skill that needs to be trained and learned and should not be ignored. One other drawback of AI is human reliance on computers for what I would say simple administrative tasks. Although computers and AI are very useful in reducing the time needed for tasks such as writing emails or summarizing articles, I would encourage educators to encourage their students to do some of this work manually in order to ensure that they have the skills needed to do this work, especially knowing that AI is not perfect and AI can produce errors and inconsistencies. This is where critical thinking becomes very important, and it's something I discussed in a previous slide.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Mazen. Before we give the floor to Dr. Susan, there are a few questions in the chat. One question, it seems, has been sent directly to me. And the question was, do you have AI tools that provide us more than 90% of AI content detection? So simply they ask about the accuracy of detecting the AI-generated text.
Yeah, that's a good question. And the simple answer is no. Unfortunately, tools that detect AI-generated content are lagging behind AI-generating tools. This is probably due to need. Not many people want to check content, but many people want to generate content. However, these tools are improving, and that is why it is necessary for educators to not only rely on these tools, but to rely on self-assessment. I discussed this in one of the slides, and I recommend, for example, assessing students personally either using written assessment or oral assessment. There are also many red flags that educators can detect. You know, if you know that a student is at an average level, but they submit a project at a very high level, then that doesn't necessarily mean that they cheated, but it should be a red flag for the educator to investigate more.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mazen. We have also one question. How do you propose we prevent AI from reinforcing existing biases in education systems, particularly when most models are trained on biased public data? I think that's a very important question.
That is a very important question. And that is why I believe it is important for us to train our students how to create their own models and how to choose the training data that is comprehensive, bias-free, and consistent. Everyone is aware of the many biases in modern AI tools. I mean, many examples have been circulated on the web, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram of how AI tools have provided very biased responses because the trained data that was used was also biased. Yeah. So one thing I need to emphasize is, for example, people like, for example, minorities, they need to learn how to build AI tools that can remove biases against those minorities and encourage others to use these tools. Also, one thing I want to highlight here is if you find any biases in any response, I would encourage you to report it to the company that owns the tools. Working at such companies, I know these companies are aware of these biases and are very responsive when such biases are found. They do not take such biases lightly, and they work very hard to remove them once detected.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Mazen. Also, we have more questions in chat, but I would like to give the floor to Dr. Susan. So go ahead, Dr. Susan.
Thank you, Dr. Said, and thank you, Dr. Mazen, for your presentation. I'm actually wanting to ask the question that Dr. Mohammed has put in the chat as well too, because you've mentioned several times the ability to support students' critical thinking. But what we have seen in the last couple of years is a decline in students' critical thinking with the use of AI tools. That's a big generalization, of course. But, you know, this is a very big concern for us that students are seeing they're owning the creativity of the generative AI as their own. They're not taking the same sort of responsibility for what's generated as they used to do for their own generated work. And they're using AI as a shortcut, which is actually impacting on the development of their critical thinking skills. And, you know, we feel great responsibility as educators to mitigate this effect, and also the effect of reliance on AI as well too, which is also something we're seeing in our students, that they're becoming reliant on these tools without thinking not to use them as well too. So if you could make some comment on that, because you have stressed that AI can support the development of critical thinking. So I'd love to hear your ideas a little bit expanded on how that works, please.
Yeah, that's a very good question. And this is a case where educators need to be involved. As I mentioned, critical thinking can be improved when we teach students about the limitations of AI and encourage them to question what AI produces. Now, how can you train your students with this? Let's assume that a student provides a piece of multimedia that is AI generated. you can sit with the student and ask the student what they think of this, let's say, image. Is it really representative of the ideas they wanted to express? How would they improve it if they could? What is missing from this image? By not accepting AI-produced images, for example, as is, and questioning the content, and trying different approaches to generate different images for the same idea, we are teaching our students about critical thinking. One example that I want to highlight here is something that we face in the tech industry. AI is now able to produce code for us. In the past, programmers would write their code from scratch. Nowadays, similar to autocomplete in text, AI can autocomplete your code. It can generate code from comments. However, this code is not perfect. Sometimes it has errors, and sometimes it's not optimal. We teach our junior engineers to question what was produced by AI. Is it correct? Is it comprehensive, and does it cover all use cases and edge cases? Is it optimal, or can this code be optimized further? This is a win-win situation where the student saved time using AI to generate code, but also used their critical thinking to question what was produced and improvement. We can extend this same approach to different fields. As I said, it is important for us to teach students to question what AI produced and to try different approaches in producing AI-generated content. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Dr. Mazen. It's just an issue when it comes to large class sizes, because I absolutely agree with your approach. And, you know, this is something we're certainly doing with students, that we are questioning their use of AI. We're asking them to actually defend what they have produced and to discuss it. And that is often how you can work out whether they've used a, you know, Gen AI tool. And the difficulty comes when you have hundreds of students, and that's a challenge.
No, I totally agree. You know, that with AI, it's new challenges have risen that educators need to address and face nowadays. It's a different scope of challenges, but the challenges will always be there.
Okay, Dr. Mazen, we have two more questions. One question, how do you evaluate the effectiveness of AI in improving learning outcomes? And what evidence do you have that it actually works?
That's also a good question. And as I said, there have been numerous studies that have looked at different aspects of AI. I gave two examples. One was regarding personalized testing, personalized learning generated through AI, which showed 30% improvement in standardized test scores compared to traditional learning. If you do a survey of such studies online, as I said, there are numerous studies showing effectiveness of different AI tools in education. I need to emphasize here that there's always some drawbacks that educators need to be aware of and need to address in order to reap the most benefits from these AI tools.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mazen. And before we give the floor to Dr. Qasim, there is a question. What are effective strategies for teaching AI concepts to non-technical students? And which tools would you recommend to enhance their learning experience?
That's a very good question. And unfortunately, I haven't been involved in teaching for a while. So there are no specific tools that I would recommend at this point. as I said earlier, I would encourage educators to test and play around with different tools that are available to them online, choose what is most appropriate for their learning settings, and incorporate it into their courses.
Thank you
I
so
have
much.
also shared some examples in a previous slide. I will share the slide deck after this meeting, after this presentation.
Okay, so Dr. Qasim, the floor is yours.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Mazen, for the very insightful presentation. And some kind of, I can say, it opened my eyes because I believe maybe myself like a little bit slow in using these AI things. But I mean, this one opened my eye a lot. Now, I have a question, which is also kind of concern. Because I believe our students are already using AI. I'm teaching in engineering, mechanical engineering, and I can feel that the students are already using AI, maybe a lot more than what I do myself. And as we were discussing here in this meeting, and for example, if I start using AI, as we have discussed here, it will appear that the student have an access to the same tools that I have. And because of that, I think there can be kind of a collision and can create some kind of confusion. Primarily because when we teach, we follow a certain textbook. And for example, courses like machine design, these are actually textbook focused. You can actually apply some methods based on the textbook so that to make it easy for students to understand. Now, if they get it open to in the AI sphere, they can actually bring so many things that can confuse them. And then later on then become problem when you do the assessment. This is actually my observation. Do you have any kind of comment or whatever, something that can help maybe to reduce this kind of confusion that may happen?
Yeah, I would say we need to embrace AI and not try to avoid it. We are preparing students for the future and for the workforce. And AI has been integrated within the workforce in most fields nowadays. Students will have to learn how to use these tools in order to land the best jobs out there. The job market is very competitive worldwide, and only students with the most and best skills are getting the good jobs. That being said, students also should be aware that they need to not rely on these tools, and that they need to kind of use these tools to their advantage, but not as a replacement for being able to understand and use the theoretical and technical underlying theorems or content. I understand this is a difficult challenge for educators, and because AI integration into education is fairly recent, we still don't have the best answers, but we need to try to adapt and learn from our mistakes and the mistakes of others when it comes to integrating AI into education.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Mazen.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I have a question to you, Dr. Mazen. Since you have the industrial experience and also previously were in academia, now from your perspective, how can AI tools help students to generate innovative ideas that align with the industrial needs? Sometimes we feel that there is a gap. So when the students, they have an idea, let's say capsule projects, or even some course project or something, we feel maybe it doesn't align with the industry, then it becomes a useless. So now with the AI, how do you think we can bridge this gap, or how AI can really make the innovative ideas generated by students align with the industry?
That's a great question. And one use of AI that I find very beneficial is AI's ability to search and summarize the state-of-the-art technology. You can ask AI to locate, to find, and to search for recent articles related to your field of study or your field of concentration. For example, let's say you work on computer architecture. You can ask Google Gemini or ChatGPT or Microsoft Bing to summarize the latest findings from companies that specialize in this field. That way you can remain up to date regarding what technology advancements are taking place in these companies. And this can guide you to what projects a student can work on that would be relevant to these recent advancements. One thing that I need to highlight here also is that the gap between education and the industry is very difficult to close, not because educational institutes are not trying to close this gap. It is because the secrecy within the technology industry. Many of the things that technology companies, industry companies work on remains secretive inside the company and is not published for many years. This is why I need to emphasize the need to integrate internships and practical training into curriculum in education. This allows students to experience firsthand working in companies and the different technological advancements made in these companies.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I think, Dr. Mazen, we reached at the end. So I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for the informative presentation. And it was our pleasure to have you. So thank you so much to you. Thank you so much to my colleagues for attending the workshop. And have a nice day, Dr. Mazen. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure presenting this talk to you.